just sort of read, just follow along. So we go.
Okay.
Chapter's called Comrades. Ooh, this is it. Right here, my blood is boiling. Huh, martial law, martial law. 5 minutes until it's declared. Hurry up and come, martial law. I'll massacre anyone who defies us. Just as I thought, fighting suits me way better than overthinking things. Hey, there's been a change in the first prince's private troops. Let's inform the prince. It's Rice, coming in. The prince is currently sleeping. Let's hear your business. I'm awake. Give me water, I'm thirsty. There are 2 of the first prince's private soldiers carrying automatic rifles in front of room 1009. Seems they have some business in the deceased 9th prince's room. Oh? Is it finally beginning? What is? Special martial law? Or maybe there's a chance they'll treat the 9th prince's death as an act of terrorism. Pass a strict order to all private troops. Absolutely do not resist. Tell them to let go of their weapons and keep them grouped together in one place. If it's declared, they'll fire their guns without asking any questions. Stall the first prince's private troops. They shouldn't lay a hand on Hunter Association members, so any excuse will do. I believe they're currently asleep. If there was any movement outside before the declaration, we'd have gotten a radio transmission by now. Hurry. Don't let them out of the break room. General order. Dispose of all drugs in the master bedroom. Figured. Throw them in a pot or something and burn them. Urgent. Rice, come here for a second. Wasn't the matter of the drugs already settled with the Ministry of Justice? When special martial law is declared, the military takes complete control. So dangerous stuff is still dangerous. If it turns into a military dictatorship, they can paint white as black anyway, right? Even if we do this. It's the prince's order. Stop whining and just do it. Oh, yeah. Saw him. Why did you kill him, huh? Self-defense. He attacked me first. See, I knew that was the phrase. I don't know why they didn't just write that. Drop your weapon. I'll have you explain the situation. Depending on the circumstances, a judicial investigation will be necessary. I really don't mind putting my weapon down, but it's strange. Who's investigating whom? No response. If there's anyone inside, it amounts to an act of treason against the royal army. The sweep operation under special martial law is progressing much faster than expected, but that's convenient for me. My ability... Let me switch these. My ability, which kills the target using a combination of N and Stinger Ball, is fundamentally unsuited for group battles between Nen users. Oh yeah, that's the bro with the parasite, the short-haired guy. He's got the little... Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The inside of N is practically defenseless. Letting someone into my N is highly risky in itself. Since I don't know who can use Nen, even recruiting can be a fatal mistake, let alone maintaining N mentally while surrounded by a bunch of people who might be Nen users, and whom I don't even know are enemies or allies. That alone is a monumental task. The wider I expand my N, the higher the risk of colliding with other Nen users. If I encounter an automatic attack type user who reflexively attacks anyone who overlaps their N with theirs, or a duo, where one uses N and the other fires mission type Nen bullets, those are high probability I'll end up dead. But all Benjamin's soldiers are like super thinkers about Nen.
Right.
They all go into don't die monologues. That association member, Karapika, is accelerating this by increasing the number of Nen users among the enemy. The situation is such that it's becoming nearly impossible to keep attaching the bug shooting ball to the princess without being noticed by the other guards. If it were an environment where we could detain and monitor only the princes, my ability could be utilized to its fullest. But even then, once she is successfully detained under special martial law, there would no longer be any need for my ability In other words, my ability is no longer of use in the succession war. We breach the moment the order is issued. Roger. That's exactly why I, Ushohi, was teamed up with Chia and Maji. Are you ready? Of course. It goes without saying. Ability, King of Men, manipulation type, semi-compulsory. By touching a volunteer continuously for a set period of time. Ooh. I just lost our page. Okay. They can render the volunteer invincible for a duration equal to the time they were touched. It cannot defend against mutual cooperation type attacks where multiple Nen users collaborate. So Hulkenberg makes this shit a moot point. It's not invincible to that. Once the time is up, they are forced into a state of Zetsu for 100 times the duration of the invincibility. Furthermore, immediately after the Zetsu state is lifted, due to the recoil of their own aura, they will take damage equivalent to 10% of all the nullified attacks. 10%? This is kind of busted. Like, yeah, you could still die, but you would have to die like 10 times. No, you would have to take, well, I should say this. You would have to take 10 times the dose of one lethal amount of damage to die.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So if 2 bullets would kill you, it would have to be 20.
That's strong defense.
Very.
That's pretty decent. But I mean,
he's already a Nen user, so 2 bullets aren't killing him to begin with. So it's a lot of damage. It just basically makes your defense 10 times stronger than it would otherwise be, and if you're a Nen user, that's very strong. Anyways, I confirmed with N that there's only 1 person inside, but depending on the total amount of damage nullified, I will die after the invincibility wears off. Who's inside 1009? Because it didn't show us on the little diagram. It didn't show us.
No, we didn't see it.
Nope. I realized it for the first time when I changed, let's see. Oh, when I changed the diaper, back when the 8th Queen and Kurapika collapsed simultaneously. At that time, certainly, I was confused and flustered, but the 14th Prince, no, not the Prince. Well, when I looked at the baby's face, honestly, forgive my insolence, but I stopped caring about all that. As an attendant, my mission is to take care of you two. So I continued my duties as usual. This is Shimano talking, of course. However, my concern lies with the real 14th Prince. Of course, I assume they are in a safe place, but what exactly will happen to them after this? That is something even I don't know. It will likely depend on the last prince remaining. If, as you say, Kurapika, things aren't settled by the time we disembark, will all the remaining princes be saved? Before that, there are 2 major problems. One is Beyond's curse. If the activation condition for the curse is officially participating in the succession war, then at least the 14th prince is not included. That is highly likely, isn't it? However, in the unlikely event that having participated in the seed-earned ceremony is the activation condition, normally taking part in that ceremony and then not participating in the succession war is unthinkable. Furthermore, what if the curse on the newborn prince wasn't cast in time, and they activated it through some method after we boarded the ship? Yes, actually shortly after entering this residential area, I felt something like a wave of Nen near the prince. A curse on this child? Is there really a possibility of that? There's also a possibility that it was the Nen of the assassin whose identity is still unknown, or the Nen of the first prince's private troops. I'm glad they're finally elaborating on this.
Right.
We've been waiting. I was facing away, and moreover, it was just for an instant, so I have no way of knowing its true identity anymore. It's possible to siphon Beyond's ability with my chain and learn what it is, but under what conditions exactly does Beyond's curse activate? At this point, we have no choice but to confirm that with Beyond himself. The difficulty level of the condition to activate that curse should be quite high. If the situation where I cannot activate it continues, I will end up dying. Oh, so if he siphons and he can't activate it, it's all bad.
It's over. It's game over.
That's suicidal. The realistic option is negotiating conditions with Beyond, but the Kakin side will absolutely not release his restraints, and Beyond himself doesn't desire freedom. Beyond not making a move until they reach the continent aligns with both of their interests. Yeah. In the first place, it's doubtful he would even admit the curse itself is his doing. Kurapika, I think you've already realized it, but there's just one. There is a surefire condition. The Hunter Association side granting a pardon to Beyond? Exactly. If the Hunter Association's restraints are gone, he'll take the bait. Impossible. It's Chairman Netero's final directive, out of the question. The Chairman's directive is to bring back solutions for the calamities from the new continent, right? This is the first time in like 50 chapters that we're actually talking about
The calamities?
The Dark Continent itself. It's been absent from all discussion. Let me get the logo on the screen real quick. Image. Here, bear with me, y'all. Text.
You know, I feel like they've been dealing with so many other things.
Yeah.
That the Dark Continent obviously would just be a footnote.
Right. Right. But it's not. It's the opposite of a footnote. Okay. The chairman's directive is to bring back solutions for the calamities from the new continent, right? If we negotiate it well, it can be a win-win for both. No good. We have a contract with V5. We really can't drag the entire association into this. Let's see. Karapika speaking. First is a premise. Beyond is trying to achieve his ambition, even if it means using his own biological children as sacrificial pawns. There's no way he'll talk about the curse, which is the core of his plan, and if he does play along, it's highly likely to be a trap. Bill says, that's why we're going to set a trap right back at him. That woman, couldn't we pull it off if we use the ability of the 5th Prince's private soldier well? If we casually slip a clause about ability... Longi, the child. If we casually slip a clause about abilities into the contract with Beyond, or utilize the penalty for breaking the contract, if we think about it, there might be a good method. Karapika says, Bill, aren't you supposed to be on Beyond's side? Why go that far? Bill says, good grief. I'm glad you're not on Beyond's side. Huh? Sigh. Okay. Bill's just a good guy. That's what this boils down to.
Right.
Bill says, after hearing about what Beyond has done and what he's planning to do, I don't have enough of a bond or sense of duty to keep working under him. Karapika says, well, it's true that once you decide to do something, you seem like the type to see it through to the very end. You're actually a very dutiful guy. Bill thinking, I'm impressed, though I wouldn't want to associate with him outside of work. Karapika, he hasn't changed. Bill says, my goal is completely shifted to protecting the Queen and Prince, but when that happens, desires and doubts inevitably pop up. Prioritizing the 8th Queen and others is the absolute premise, but I find myself wondering if there's a way to stop the succession war if possible. Regarding the restrictions of the succession war, I think the Hunter Association will get on board. Not a single association member wants a death game. The ones who fear the collapse of the restrictions and losing the protection of the Huigoro ritual and the current king and the hardcore faction aiming to inherit his prestige is basically only Beyond and the upper tier princes. I think it's viable for the association to unite, prevent Beyond's curse, weaken the Kakin monarchy, and prop up clean princes as figureheads of a new regime. If we have the just cause of saving the princes who became hostages to the curse, the V5 will approve it. The condition for lifting Beyond's restraints doesn't have to be permanent. We can just catch him again on a separate charge. Right now, doing something about the curse is the absolute priority, right? Oito says, the second major problem is still, I'm terribly sorry. Karapika says, the second major problem is that the Queen herself does not know the whereabouts of the 14th Prince. I don't know what kind of promises were made when you swapped each other's children, but you thought it would be better for the prince's safety if you didn't know their location, right? Oito says, yes. Karapika says, the fact that you have absolutely no idea where the prince is means we cannot deny the possibility that the 14th Prince is aboard this ship.
Man, you call. Oh my God.
Listen. You never block Togashi's contingencies. In what point in the story has he allowed you that ability?
Yeah. That was a call.
It was always possible. But now it's going to become, see, it's right here. It says, Oito says, I don't think that's the case. Kurapika says, the question is how to prove that to the military. At the very least, the first prince's side definitely has not discarded that possibility. They have likely started an independent search. Fact. Kurapika says, since a murder case was discovered on the lower tiers, a simultaneous search is being conducted. At that time, they should have rechecked the data and ID cards of all passengers. Yeah, I asked Peon to cross-reference the passengers under 2 years old, but the fact that the journalists aren't there means there's no matching person, Bill thinks. They might have used a disguise to register at an older age. Kurapika says, if she's not found like this, it means she's not on the ship. In other words, it proves that she is not participating in the succession war, right? Or, no, Oito says that. Kurapika says, no, the suspicion will never be cleared. Oito asks, how could... Bill says, hey, Kurapika, you don't have to put it so bluntly. Kurapika says, there's no point in hiding it, and actually being suspected is also convenient in a way. Oito says, huh? Kurapika, oh, here goes the classic Togashi. Y'all are about to get nothing but text from Kurapika for a hot minute. Since the baby swap was carried out systematically, the military will act assuming a scenario where that plan causes them the most disadvantage. In that case, it is the 14th prince still has the right to participate and is somewhere on the ship. Until that is completely ruled out, it will be kept within their strategic assumptions. The best we can hope for, as complete elimination, is that the organizers officially declaring the 14th prince's non-participation, or proving that the 14th prince is off the ship. However, not being found on the ship is not proof of being off the ship. In case of, it must also be proven simultaneously that anyone who leaves the ship during the succession war loses the right to participate. It's difficult to prove that it was your younger sister's son who participated in the ceremony, which is the condition for gaining the right to participate. If so, we cannot deny the suspicion that the real prince swapped with the younger sister's son after participating in the ceremony and escaped the ship through some method.
Okay.
As long as the suspicion cannot be eliminated, the upper prince's side will assume the 14th prince is on the ship, and even if found outside the ship, they must prove a prince with the right to participate loses that right if they leave the ship. Question. Ricky, do you think we have reason to be attentive to who might be the father of her sister's child?
Who might be the father of Oito's sister's child? Is that going to be relevant?
That is the question. Because look, as far Beyond was out here fucking, like,
he was on a mission, of course.
Yeah.
The reason why we should.
My thought is simply with the level of like clairvoyance or forward thinking that Beyond, Pariston, and Jing have, anything is possible. Like, this could absolutely, like, this is the show where you have, like, I'm just thinking of all contingencies because people are so 5-head. The regular people are 5-head. So how 5-head is Beyond? Like, what is the possibility that he screened this woman or met this woman? Because he's been around since forever. He's known these people forever. He looked at her and he goes, she's going to swap her kid. Let me have that kid.
You know the reason why I don't want to dismiss that possibility?
Why?
Because if we now have confirmation that Wobble is a substitute,
yeah,
we don't have any explanation for why that Wobble was exuding malevolent black aura from the crib.
Well, they have come to the determination that that was just aura in that vicinity. They have not identified, none of them have concluded that it was specifically from fake Wobble.
Truly? Huh. Okay.
Yeah, because we have to
I
keep
still,
that in the air.
yeah. Okay. I still don't want to discount it then.
Yeah.
Regardless, even if that isn't strong enough support, I still don't want to discount that there is some possibility that this fake Wobble is still possibly an issue beyond how it's being presented.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just there's some. I feel like they're pointing to so many things with there's such a magnifying glass being drawn to the Wobble situation that I think there's a misdirect in what they're looking at. And they're looking at, oh, well, this isn't your child. Well, whose child is it? It's your sister's child. Who is your sister's husband? And who is the husband the father? Because that gate is supremely open. Like there are fathers raising children all over this country that are not fathers. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about that. Okay. Son Karapika says, in terms of breaking the curse, there's fundamentally one core problem, but the approaches to solving it are completely different, so I've split it into two. The two choices are sever the source of the curse or remove the curse from the target. In our current situation, we lack both the manpower and the time to try and resolve these two issues simultaneously. Therefore, I believe we should aim to resolve the first one. If we do that, it also aligns with fulfilling the contract with the 5th Prince's private soldier. However, in order to prevent a worst-case scenario, we must too act assuming the worst. To solve the second problem, assuming the curse is directed at the 14th Prince, we will attempt protection and exorcism, so I would like to request the Hunter Association to search for the Prince. Oito is hesitant and then says, yes. Karapika is hesitant and says, I will ask you one last time to confirm. I know it's a fact that the 8th Queen has absolutely no idea where the Prince is, but in reality, for example, in an emergency, haven't you decided on a person or place to contact in case something happens just to be safe? He's so smart. She hesitates again, and Bill thinks he really is something else. Karapika doesn't overestimate his own abilities. Therefore, even if he gathers several truths, he doesn't jump to the conclusion that the answer is the absolute truth. And he knows that the Queen not knowing is the final and greatest defense. That's why he's kept quiet about it until now. Our worst case scenario is the 14th Prince being on the ship and becoming a target of the curse. If we just know that the Prince is out there, we can get the cooperation of the hunters on the mainland. Could you tell me? Oito says, until I learned about the curse. My worst case scenario was that after a new king was decided, my daughter would be found by the royal army, and she, along with all of our relatives, would be executed. Escaping succession war, as we know from the 10th Prince's case, is a grave offense worthy of death, just as Karapika said. My confession can still be taken as a lie to survive the succession war, so I wasn't punished, but the moment it's proven we have no right to participate, we become felons. Our only hope was for the 9th Prince to survive and become king, but right now I can only pray that she isn't cursed, all while clinging to the hypothesis about the succession war's restrictions. If the people from the Hunter Association will protect us. Karapika says, there are people in various positions within the association. Honestly, I cannot tell you to trust all of them. However, I can promise you this much. I have friends whom I trust even more than myself. I swear it on my life. If it's them, they will definitely protect them. unbelievable.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
That's unbelievable.
How is this hitting for you right now when you've been waiting years? Years. Like,
I can't even tell you. I can't.
this doesn't even seem real. This feels like it's fan fiction.
I can't describe this moment to you. Okay.
This is crazier than any of the crap we was talking about. This is crazier than any of that.
Oh, shit brought a tear to my eyes. Okay. She says, Oito says, my maternal relatives work at a post office in the Yamato Nation. We send a letter containing a code to them first and have them send it back to Kakin for a fee, processed as address unknown. That way it gets delivered to the return address they wrote in Yamato without leaving any delivery records. Using that method. Oh, they're going to use that service that bro was talking about for the autographs.
Uh-huh.
"49 days remaining until the end of the Succession War." Margin text. The existence of friends who support Kurapika. Wow. Wow.
It's pointless. It might be virtually pointless to try and predict Takashi.
Wow. Wow.
Out the blue.
Wow.
Why would he even? This is.
Wow. That's 414. Yeah. Okay. Sure. So what do we say about this?
I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, it was everything that the suggestive leaks said it would live up to. Is this how? I suppose. So the thing is, right? I had like a half related theory. I thought that Gon and Killua would get involved in the plot line. This might connect. This might connect. Because the thing is, I said Gon and Killua would get involved in a sort of roundabout way, right? To lead them through to the eventual Gyro storyline, where Gon will most definitely be, and I imagine Killua and Alluka will be as well. So, here's the one question I have for you guys, because my theory before was obviously, for one reason or another, remaining members of the Phantom Troop would have to contact them, because most of this is wrong, but I will explain to you what my theory was. My theory was that the delivery service was mentioned in reference to the Phantom Troop, and homeboy who wanted the autograph, what's his name? Oh my god, how'd I forget? is his name? I can see his face with the freckles. Sudanki, that's his fucking name. So Sudanki was talking about the parcel or letter delivery back and forth, which is what Oito was referring to here, right? So I assumed Sudanki had brought it up in reference to the Phantom Troop. He wanted to get the Phantom Troop's autographs. He wanted to get materials, ordered an autograph booklet or paper so he could get them. So my thought is later that would connect to Gyro's story, and more or less, for some reason or another, the Phantom Troop receiving communication, cellular or otherwise, about what's going on over there and needing somebody to help, and that would relay itself to the Phantom Troop members with Pakunoda's memories finding a way to reach out to our main characters, thus sending them over there, right? Now that was all very wrong. However, that may have led us to the right place. My nose might be good. Because let me tell you why. They are about to be sent on a search from this same parcel service that I was thinking was going to be used to contact them to find Wobble. Now, what is one place you guys can think of that both has some light tethers to Kakin that we know of based on peripheral information? And if you wanted to disappear or become invisible, would be a great place for you and a child to go. I can think of one. And it's the very same place that I had in mind. Boys, girls, lads, lasses, we might be on the way to one meteor city.
At a time like this.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. I can't believe this.
My mind is melting.
Yeah.
Man.
And of course, Killua's got that shit on.
I wasn't even gonna point that out. I wanted you to be just like Over the Moon. When you zoomed and zammed in.
I want to take a... Does anybody got the high quality raw? I wonder where Killua and Aluka are currently. Like, obviously they're sightseeing, but where are they? Because Gon is just at home. Kurapika in the split panel between them is also great.
Yeah.
Wow. Who's Gon with? I think that's just the little girl that was sad that he left from like episode 1. Killua's got them Fresh Prince pants on. He's got the drug rug pants on, bro. He's got the male equivalent of flare pants on.
Dude, it didn't take much to make this An earth shaker.
No. Noko. Yeah. Yeah, so that girl is probably effectively just chasing, going around the island the same way that Mito used to chase Jing around the island. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Wow. Wow. I guess before we go, we will discuss. Would it be underwhelming if Gon had his aura back when he returns to the story?
No.
When he returns to the story, depends, because we should probably get like a flashback or a small. We should get something relative to how, because he's gonna redevelop his nen, and I'm pretty sure we know how, right? Because he went through the quick and easy way to get his nen in the first place. I would have to imagine that when Nanika lifted the damage to him, it wasn't really just the physical damage, because healing the physical damage of an alive person, making a person just stay alive, wouldn't require as much aura as she exhibited. But what she had to exercise was the covenant and restriction that he put on himself as well. Probably just absolutely reversing him to a state where he had not done any of that. That was probably the only way to heal him of that. I would like him to do the long route to get his nodes open like Zushi, precisely. But here's the thing. That's not a long route any longer, because he already knows what to do. He just has to open them joints back up. Like he already, all the tech is in here. He doesn't know how to open them, but he knows how to wield the whole joint very effectively, mind you, right? And just reverted back to zero precisely. It's like Eri in My Hero. Just absolutely reversed. And so what I'm thinking, first of all, there's a thing. There's a thing that was said recently by Morena. And two, there's a thing that was said very early when we started exploring that. We'll start with thing two. Thing two is that your affinity for Nen has the possibility to change over time. And also, when you unlock your Nen, it can also, your Nen type can also evolve into being a specialist just by virtue of experiences, traumatic experiences, growing up in extreme conditions, etc. Morena also said that one could invest all their time into something else not knowing they are a specialist. Yeah, Kurapika's master said that, yep. So there's two possibilities. Well, there's three. First, I'm wrong. I'm full of shit. That's possibility one, right?
You're just like Kurapika.
Yeah.
You're making considerations, yes.
Possibility two. Gon's experience in life, experience in, York New, Greed Island, and the Chimera Ant's arc has shifted his Nen capability into being such a thing, right? And possibility three is that he was a specialist all along, and just the way he tested reflected that of an enhancer, so that's just what they ran with. Because every time I look back on it, the level for somebody that was so early into their Nen career and not powerful yet, mind you, not powerful at all as a Nen user, to have that level of control over the process. Because as feeble as their first attempts were, as feeble as their first attempts were, I'm not. What would a specialist exhibit at the level that where Killua and Gon first did the water divination? Sending HQ scans of the last page. I think I had some that were high quality, but your message, like, if you ever want to send something like this, feel free to either join the Court or send it on to the Twitter, because I'll check everything in either of those. So basically my point is, if we go back to Heaven's Arena, right, when they first do the water divination, their capabilities were not much. The water was barely sweet from Killua, and it barely moved from Gon. Now, maybe it was because it was unbridled when he did it the second time, but I doubt that, because even if you look at Ramot as an enhancer, his Nen potential at the time he did the Nen test was surely greater than Gon's the second time he did the Nen test. The Chimera Ants, they're just strong, right? Okay. Gon did the second Nen test in 2 months. Now, granted, that is a lot of time for him to be able to master and cycle through that. But the force at which it cracked in all of that, like breaking links, what here's the there's the Hunter Twitter I use. Let me go on Twitch and grab you that link. So what I'm kind of trying to say here is, God, let me just recenter. The glass breaking the way it did just doesn't it looks closer and as overwhelming as the specialist tests that we've seen. We didn't see Kurapika's specialist test. We just heard about it because we saw Izunami was like, hey, Kurapika, your eyes are red, come test again. We didn't see that test. We saw Pedos. We saw Cereodnix. And those just both made the water divination do some wild shit. Gon cracking the glass was comparatively some wild shit. And that's a very like tangential and peripheral type of like analogous comparison, but you know, that's what we do here. So that's possibility. Those are the other couple possibilities, is either that he just mistested, or I mean, he could also just come back the same. He could just be an enhancer again, but start with a different Hatsu. Because that's the thing that I'm totally expecting. That is possibility D. Possibility D is that he remains an enhancer, but his Hatsu will be developed completely differently. Which is what I'd be expecting, because I don't expect Gon to have that simple of an ability for the remainder of the manga. I expect him to develop like a Hatsu that he can actually do some real strategic things with, rather than rock, paper, scissors, which is the simplest of strategies in like video games and in general, right? Killua's doesn't need to change. He's a supernatural being. Like he is the Raijin. Like
he's cool. He's already
he's
doing things.
He's effectively deified. He's a deity. Now, but yeah, it's like, well, you could say he pumped too much aura into the glass, but I mean, we haven't seen anybody try to control it, to my knowledge. Because, what, am I expected to think that Ramot has more finite control over his Nen than Neferpitou? No, that's not the case. And did Ramot have more Ren when he got it than Gon had as of Heaven's Arena? Also the case. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's not necessarily inconsistency with the testing, but there kind of could be, because with as much of a stickler as Togashi is for details, Gon breaking the glass, but Wing's being so regular, and which of course Wing has great control over his, right? But anybody else who's uncontrolled, which we would see from Seri, which we would see from Ramot, which we would see from Gon, possibly Killua. Killua's really smart though. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just something to keep an eye on. Man, I feel like I could talk about this forever.
I mean, we're right in the mix of it now. How are we gonna?
Ain't no way, bro.
Do we have another discussion about this directly?
What do you mean?
Because I want to do it. I want to do a full, like a full blown breakdown. Where we also kind of go over what the reintroduction of GON and KILLUA means.
Yeah, I mean, we can have a longer discussion. We can do that for the pod proper, where we, because actually this is what we, if you end up having the time, if you would like to set aside like a half hour to just read the chapters and react really quickly, like when these come out, if we get the good translations, and then like we do a pod where we elaborate on the official translations and then just yap, we can do that. I'm game for that too. That's just up to you if you can spare that time.
This is there's something very if there's something that makes this feel like kismet. that catching up.
Yeah, catching up on the chapter where Gon and Killua come back.
It's you and me who did it.
Yeah. Bro, throwing around the word kismet like anybody knows what that means.
There's something destined about it.
Yes, I understand, but you're a psycho.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Kakin government changed 30 years ago around the same time. Yeah. I mean, the Chimera Ant arc is relevant to this. I think everything is relevant to this. It's hard to say like how something like, you could connect almost anything to this. I think the Zoldyck history, which we don't have, will reconnect to this. I think that, not the Succession War, but everything. But because the Zoldicks are already connected, probably, like Xeno for sure. Heaven's Arena, don't know. Don't know how that connects to the greater narrative. We'll see. Greed Island, almost certainly. You've seen the fucking the casket chamber. Look like the Greed Island room. And they just got them a little piece. Chimera Ant, I mean, Pariston and beyond, and a lot of the infrastructure there, and Gyro, right? Like, Chimera Ant got Gyro bringing the nobodies of Meteor City in his own military forces. Yeah, I mean, he could really unite the remainder of the anybody who's been refugees or is currently on the mainland as a result of the Carnival. Anybody who knows about that, he could really use that to his advantage, because I'm sure as like his level of politician, he would know something about it. He's not far from there. So, wow. Wonder if this will help re-energize Togashi? Yeah, possibly.
No, no, that boy alive.
Very,
That boy alive.
very.
What are you talking about?
I'm
Thriving.
actually sure that this is the chapter that made Shonen Jump go, oh, we gotta drop this shit. The streets need it.
They saw this.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, this is wicked work.
You know, there's something about it that I wouldn't even mind if this was the end of the series. If I'm, it's something about this that's just so crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, this is insane. This is insane. Well, I'm happy that all you guys were here. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing more people next time. So I finished the storyboarding. Yeah, I mean, well, he's working on, I think he handed in a couple of the manuscripts. I think we're past 420 on the manuscripts, no? He started character inking on 433.
you think this batch we climbing all the way to the 30s?
I mean, he's working on them. Yeah, I mean...
Well, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you for the follow. That was a nice time for a notification. See, who just followed? Let me see. Nazil, what's up? So, he's finished the manuscript for 423. Like, 423 is ready.
It's unfathomable.
Yeah. 421, 2, and 3 are ready. So...
bare minimum, we're going to 420. So 6 more chapters post this. Yeah. I don't even know.
Well, it might be 16. It really just depends. He's got, like, let's see, let's go by his pace, because I'm not trying to get greedy. I think they're going to stick with the 10 chapter blocks. Nah, because I think they're only doing 10 chapter blocks based on what's complete. No, that's a funny fucking tweet. Somebody says, let's see. Bloomin _C _RN_ says, I can't believe Togashi is adding even more characters to this bloated arc. Who the fuck were those two at the end?
Oh my gosh. You got some witty guys out here, don't you?
Is there a chance? Is there a chance we get more than 420 this batch? I'm letting y'all know my eyes gonna be red as shit when I show up to the 420 stream. It's just, that's how it's gotta be. So, okay, let's see. I mean, yeah, it could be done. So, let's see. So he said in April that number 430, the character inking was completed. The publication timing for chapters 420 onward will be announced by Shueisha's Jump editorial department. Please wait for the announcement. I'm receiving tons of motivation to keep going from my wife. 421, he completed the manuscript on May 26th, which seems like a while, right? He disappeared for a while. He said, my temporary tooth is cracked. Unfortunate. Yeah, well, Togashi. Number 431 character inking complete, June 14th. June 17th, illustrations completed. July 1st, number 422, manuscript completed. July 7th, number 423, manuscript completed. And then July 10th, number 432, character inking completed. Number 433, character inking started. So his work rate has dramatically picked up because, I'll put it this way, start of July. Our tweets in July are as follows. July 1st, manuscript completed for 422, right? July 3rd, number 28, 428, background specification document creation completed. July 7th, number 423, manuscript completed. July 10th, number 432 and 433. Number 432, inking completed. Number 433, character inking started. So what it's looking like to me is that it's very possible that he's picking up pace. If he can have any type of momentum, if we get a tweet the next couple of days saying anything about 424, honestly, if we get to 425 by the end of the month, God forbid 426, they really might just keep it moving. Think Pariston will make an appearance? It's possible. It's possible. If Pariston makes an appearance, Jing's gonna make an appearance. If Jing and Pariston make an appearance on this boat, nothing else matters to me. I'll keep it 1,000. Because one, that shit's over with. Toss all your theories out the window. Nothing anybody is capable of matters anymore. Crollo's gonna level up Skill Hunter, and Jing and Pariston are gonna be like, cool story, bro. You having fun? All right, cool. Get the fuck out the way. We got shit to do. Yeah. Your revenge. Yeah. We got shit to do, bro. Move.
Straight like that.
Yeah, Jing actually gonna just slap the conjured book out of his hand and be like, now what? You're not holding it. Slap it like a plate of food. I wasn't ready.
How could you be? How could anyone be? Matt. Oh,
I wasn't ready.
Goodness. Oh my goodness.
Jing would be interesting to end the succession war, you think? I mean, there's a litany of ways it could go, right? Because before we knew Beyond had the curses, I was fully convinced. Everybody was like, oh, Saraynik this, Saraynik that. I was like, bro, it doesn't matter who gets off the ship. Beyond's just gonna like low diff him like Yusuke's dad and did Sensui. Straight up. I think Jing being able to steal Hatsu by seeing them used one time. Physical Hatsu. Hatsu he gets punched by, to be clear. What's bro's name? Ryzen. Yeah, when Ryzen bitched Sensui, I feel like that's what Beyond would have done to any winner of the succession contest. But then again, I feel like that's what Jing or Pariston would also do. Because Pariston acts like his weak, but his, I don't know, based on what I've seen, even from like Camilla, for example, Pariston's net ability has to be a motherfucker.
For him to have risen to the position that he got to?
No, just for he's Pariston. It's just Pariston. He is the de facto rival of Jing Freaks. Forget everything else you know about him. He is the de facto rival to Jing Freaks. His Hatsu must be fucking insane. And like I said, we've literally seen all these kind of insane Hatsus on this boat that people had before they got on the boat. And you know what? I kind of wonder. Remy, thank you for the follow. I kind of want to postulate here. I wonder how much of the Hatsu that would eventually be distributed to the princes, be it Benjamin Baton, be it the Black Cat, be it Saraynik's parallel universe. I wonder how much of the strength of their net abilities was affected by them being Nasubi's children and him being the winner of the last succession contest. Because if in effect the prosperity of the succession contest, I mean, it could have also just been related to Nasubi's Nen Beast, not that big ass like titty monster. And it makes me wonder, what I wonder is how much of their Nen potential or their abilities have been affected in some way peripherally by the succession contest or what may have you. Because it's not the seed urn. It can't be the seed urn itself that they entered, because Benjamin already had his. Camilla already had hers. Right? Like, Ceres is new. But, like, yeah, the cat who lived a million times, like 10 lives, 11 lives, 12 lives. It's totally possible the succession war is a series of contracts ensures that the king's offspring will have strong Nen. Precisely. I'm wondering if that's how these strong-ass abilities manifest. Because you have first a specialist who can inherit his soldier's abilities, which is perfect for his personality, but is an insanely strong ability. You have two, the second child, the daughter, who can just walk in guns blazing, trigger a trap, and come back from the dead. And I wonder if it gets stronger every time she uses the revive, because it's effectively Nen after death at that point. She dies. And then you have, we don't even know what Zhonglei can do, or anybody thereafter, but then we know Seraidna can time travel. So we got a time traveler, an ability absorber, and somebody who can be revived from the dead. All in the same lineage? With different moms? Which also begs the question, what the fuck can Jing, Pearson, and beyond do?
That's so valid. Oh my goodness.
Because Jing can basically already do what Benjamin can do offhand if he gets punched. And actually, he doesn't have to absorb it. He doesn't have a limit. It's any ability he gets punched by. I can use it and make it better. Do you think... I'm not too worried about Nasubi, because ultimately, like I said, I'm not too worried about anything to come out of the succession contest because of Jing, Pearson, and beyond. Your control group is right there. They are not doing anything with any of those three people. In fact, truly, Beyond could just become the villain on the Dark Continent. That'd be fire. That'd be gas.
Gyro?
Well, Gyro's not going to be on the Dark Continent. He's going to be in Meteor City. But
Okay.
I'm saying, like, on the Dark Continent, the villain for... Because it could end up being Jing and Pearson have to ultimately combat with him, or Pearson just goes rogue, and you got, like... And Pearson's the Hisoka on the Dark Continent. That'd be tight. like, you just have this triangle of fuckery. You have Jing, Pearson, and Beyond. If that turns into a triangle, stop. Endless cinema. I would never turn the TV off. That Kendrick song would have to get deleted from my memory, because it's not turning off.
That would be chapter after chapter.
Beyond is the villain right now. No, the succession war is messy, but everyone who's dealing with Beyond is clearly not morally clean. Is it possible Beyond is from there? Yeah. We don't know the origin story of Netero's son. And we know Netero went there when he was younger. We don't know how. Well, he was young. He was like, this was pre-mountain meditation, maybe. Or soon thereafter. Because he wasn't old. He wasn't old. And that old-ass lady from the Hunter Association was young, too. And he went there when Zeno's father or grandfather was young. Maybe. I don't feel like Beyond is the villain right now. I think he's villainous right now. He's lurking in the background. Everyone who went to the Dark Continent brought back a calamity. It's possible Beyond is a calamity in and of himself. That is possible. Can't ignore that. But I wouldn't consider him the villain right now. He is doing villainous things, and he honestly might be orchestrating the entire tree of what's going on with Kakin. But if we have an overarching villain right now, we have a couple. We have Morena and Sari, Benjamin. It's honestly going to be limited to Princes and Morena right now, are kind of the villains of the current arc. Because Beyond, I mean, he like I said, he might be the puppeteer ultimately, but he's a soft puppeteer. Like, people might be doing what he wants, but they're not doing his bidding. Unless, of course, Nasubi is just straight up doing his bidding, then yeah, he's of sorts he would be the villain, but based on how the plot line, like the actual actions of the plot line are, I wouldn't consider him that. I would just consider him like a real nasty guy. And it would actually be crazy if ultimately he wanted to go to the Dark Continent because he wants to go back home. Entropy, what am I meant to do with this, brother? Enlighten me. We still don't know who Silent Majority is, do we? No. Silent Majority being the dead as well, mind you. Alright, you're not going to tell me what I'm meant to do with this? Alright, I'm getting rid of it then. That's just historically fucked up information and, you know, relevant to history, but we're not talking about fucked up real history. We're talking about fucked up fictional history right now. I don't want to read about fucked up real history. Because then I got to go down a rabbit hole. I don't want to do that. Right. We don't know who Silent Majority is. Yeah, I mean, this turned into a supreme yap. We're probably going to go for now. Ricky probably needs to recover. And I want to get some sleep. And I'm sure y'all would too. I've had a great time. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, you can join the Discord. You can follow the Twitter. I'll give you both Twitters one more time. The one for both. Well, I'll give you Ricky's. I'll give you mine for Hunter, and then I'll give you the podcast one. You know, follow wherever you see fit, and we'll see you soon. Nice to talk, Hunter. Yep. See you soon. Baba G's, see you soon. Everybody who's in here, thank you everybody who popped by. Look forward to seeing you again soon. I will be live a lot more now, especially since we've caught up to Hunter. Just let me catch up on my Granime shit as well as the shit for the Hunter channels, and then we will be talking soon. Because I'm looking to definitely put boots to ground on the content and just get everything done. So, yeah, we'll talk soon. Okay? Later, y'all.